See all this? This entire multi-window, multitasking, 4K video playing, document editing, workstation, it's not running on the powerful PC tucked under my desk. It's not even a laptop. The whole setup, the big monitor, the full-size keyboard, the mouse, the speakers is being powered by this. A smartphone, just a regular phone that you can slip into your pocket. Today, I am going to show you exactly how I did it and finally answer the question that has been bugging me for years. Can this little slab of glass finally, truly replace a dedicated PC? 1. The mission. The why. It's more powerful than a high-end PC from a decade ago. With a processor that does uneven break a sweat, with 4,000 video and more RAM than some brand new laptops. I kept looking at the $1,000 phone in my hand and the $2,000 computer on my desk, and I just could unshake a simple question. Why do I need both? The secret sauce that makes this whole thing possible is a feature often called desktop mode. It's got a top-of-the-line processor, plenty of RAM, and, most importantly, perfect support for the latest version of Samsung DeX. This little dongle is maybe the most important piece of hardware in this whole setup. It's got a 4K HDMI port, a bunch of USB ports, an SD card reader, and critically, up to 1 OS of power delivery. It even has a little built-in stand for the phone, which is a nice touch. I hooked it up to my main 24-inch 4K monitor, and the phone drove it at full resolution without a problem, giving me a huge, crisp workspace. There are plenty of great alternatives from brands like Anker or Ugreen that will do the job perfectly. This is perfect for pulling photos off an SD card or backing up files. The whole system is surprisingly expandable. I went with a wireless Bluetooth set to keep the desk clean. You get a real mouse cursor, right-click menus, and all the keyboard shortcuts you know and love. Think about it. You can pack your phone, a small hub, a foldable keyboard, and a portable monitor into a backpack. Google has been making huge strides to improve how Android works on bigger screens, which means the foundations DeX built are influencing the future of the operating system itself. Anyone who's used a Windows PC or a Chromebook will feel right at home. This window management is what makes the whole thing so productive. It's true multitasking that feels clumsy on a normal phone screen but completely natural here. Luckily, the Android ecosystem is more prepared for this than you'd think. Most major productivity apps work beautifully in DeX. The entire Microsoft Office, Suite, Word, Excel, Power, you can see your phone's storage, your SD card, and any connected USB drives all in one place. I put this setup through a series of challenges designed to simulate a real workload and find its breaking point. I replicated my typical workflow. Google Chrome with about 15 tabs open, including Google Docs, research pages, and my content manager. Alongside that, I had Microsoft Word running with another document, Slack open for team messages, and Spotify playing music. Even with all that going on, the Galaxy S24 Ultra's RAM kept everything ready to go without constantly reloading apps or pages. For the vast majority of office work writing, spreadsheets, email, web apps, phone-powered setup wasn't just usable. It felt exactly like my laptop. A good computer isn't just for work, it's for fun. The phone just sat there silently, pushing millions of pixels to a screen many times its size. Was it as smooth as my dedicated studio PC? Of course not. But the fact that it worked at all was mine. It proves that for light creative tasks, or sketching out ideas, the phone can actually hang. While there was a tiny hesitation as the web page loaded, the video itself never missed a beat. For Netflix, YouTube, or any media, this setup is a fantastic media center for probably 90% of what most people do: web browsing, email, writing, watching videos. This setup isn't a compromise. It never got hot enough to cause problems in my testing, but it shows the thermal limits of a small fanless device. It asks for the student in a dorm who wants one device for class and for writing papers at their desk. It asks for the family that needs a home computer for homework and browsing, but doesn't want to buy another expensive machine. It's for anyone whose life revolves around a web browser, Office docs, and media. It's a full-featured alternative. The multitasking index is so good, it makes you wonder why every powerful phone doesn't have this. If your job depends on specialized desktop-only programs, the full Adobe Creative Suite, 3D modeling software, specific coding environments, or high-end PC gaming, this can't be your only machine. Some will only open in a tiny, phone-sized window. And consider subscribing for more projects that push our everyday tech to its absolute limits. Thanks for watching. This experiment proved to me that for a massive and growing number of us, the computer we actually need is already in our pocket. Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear what the biggest deal breakers are for you. We're just one cable away from unlocking its true power, and it's incredibly cost-effective. If you already have a compatible phone, all you need is a sub-$50 hub, the ability to plug into any monitor, and have my full desktop as a superpower. I opened YouTube and pulled up a stunning 4K nature documentary, maximized it on my monitor, and held my breath. I wasn't expecting to edit a Hollywood movie, but I had to see what was possible. Even tools like Slack and Zoom work as you'd expect, making this a totally viable work-from-home setup. This means you get full menus, browser extensions, and proper tab management. I imported raw photos from an SD card, made all my usual adjustments to color and exposure, and exported the final images without a hitch. For anyone who does a lot of work in a browser, this is an absolute game. The dream is for this to be a standard feature on every phone, but for now, Samsung is still the undisputed king. That's a full-blown large-screen desktop you can set up anywhere. It goes from being a neat trick at your desk to a genuinely mobile powerhouse. This isn't just screen mirroring, where you see a giant version of your phone's screen. DeX projects a completely separate PC-like desktop onto the monitor. With a taskbar, windows you can resize, and full keyboard and mouse support. While a few other brands like Motorola have similar features, Samsung DeX is the gold standard and the foundation of this whole build. DeX stands for Desktop Experience, and since it launched in 2017, it's become an incredibly polished and powerful system. The performance gap between them shrinks every single year. The line is getting blurrier and blurrier. The second you connect the powered-up hub to your Samsung phone, DeX automatically launches on the big screen. It's a true plug-and-play experience that feels like it's straight out of the future. Second, multiple USB-A ports for your keyboard and mouse. And third, and this is the one people always forget, you need power, delivery, or PD, pass-through. This lets you plug your phone charger into the hub, which then powers your phone. Without it, your phone would be running the entire desktop on its battery, which would die in no time. Keeping it charged is everything. So, what do most of us do with all that power? Scroll social media, and send texts. It feels like using a rocket ship to go to the grocery store. Building this pocket-powered workstation means choosing your components carefully. They're the bridge between your phone and a real desktop experience. Let's break down the gear. Meanwhile, a decent desktop or a good laptop costs a small fortune. I wanted to see if I could bridge that final gap and have my smartphone replace my expensive desktop not just for browsing, but for a real workday. This isn't just a fun idea. This is the complete guide. I'm detailing the exact hardware, software, and setup I used to build a workstation that is shockingly capable, and at its heart, fits in my pocket. 2. The arsenal. You can't just plug any old phone into a monitor and call it a day. First things first. The phone, and no, not just any, phone will work. If the phone is the brain, the USB-C hub is the nervous system. But the real magic trick is portability. You can pair this system with a slim, lightweight, portable monitor, which often runs on power from the USB-C hub itself. The controls? Peripherals. 3. The blueprint with the hardware. This is the most mind-blowingly simple part of the whole process. The desktop environment, a familiar landscape, the app ecosystem, from mobile to desktop. One of the biggest wins is the web browser. When you open Chrome Index, it loads the full desktop version of websites by default, not the cramped mobile versions. 4. The gauntlets. Test 1. The Office grunt. The result was, in a word, shocking. It handled the load beautifully. Switching between apps was snappy. Typing felt instant. Resizing windows was perfectly smooth. Test 2. The Media Maven. Test 3. The Creative DAO. I started with photo editing. Adobe Lightroom Mobile is a surprisingly capable app, and in DeX, it uses a tablet-style interface that works great on a big screen. Then, I really pushed it. I downloaded Cabosis, a mobile version of a professional audio program. Connected a USB audio interface 5. The verdict, the performance for everyday tasks is the biggest surprise. But, let's be real. This isn't a universal desktop killer. The biggest hurdle is the software gap. Finally, under a really heavy load, the phone can get warm. 6. The takeaway in CTA SOA. So, what do you think? What S1 app or task that a setup like this would have to nail perfectly before you'd even consider making the switch? And of course, if you found this deep dive useful, a like would be amazing.